Brendan, hi. How serious a breach is this for you by Ben Stokes breaking this curfew, and is it serious enough for him to lose the captaincy?
Look, when I first found out about it, I was obviously slightly bewildered, if I'm being honest, and then you go through a range of emotions. Then you go from being bewildered onto angry, onto kind of gutted, from the progress which we talked about and discussed over the last 6 months and what we're trying to do with the side and some of the improvements we're trying to make, which includes the standards that we want to set for ourselves. To hear about this was incredibly gutting, I guess. But then I guess when you're in roles like this, you got to start trying to separate from the action and the man, and very quickly through talking to Ben in particular and also Gus, I guess my overall emotion probably turned to a little bit of worry and concern for Ben in particular, and then since then it's been about how do we support these guys whilst not overlooking the fact that they've not lived up to the standards which we've set for ourselves. You can't walk past that per se, but at the same time, and we'll deal with that in time and through a process. But for me, it's very much about how do we support these guys through stage, and in particular Ben, and that's very much where my mind is at. I worry for him.
Can you see a way back for him though as captain, or has the trust now been eroded too badly?
Look, I think we need to go through the process. I think I look at the time that the last 4 years I've worked intimately with Ben, and I've seen Ben be an unbelievable captain. I think I've seen him at his absolute best as a captain, his best as a player, and he's helped shape this environment over the last 4 years, and he's had some incredible success doing it. And I feel very lucky that during that time we've worked so closely together. And what will be down the line. Those decisions, they're not for now. The concern at the moment is making sure that Ben is fine, and we need to look after him, rally around him, and in time we'll get on to those sorts of decisions. But for me, I'm just making sure that I'm checking in with him, and that's where things sit at the moment.
And on the wider issue, there's 6 players now involved in alcohol-related incidents in the last few months. Do you accept now that there is an issue that needs addressing?
Yeah, look, I think Keith's already spoken about this issue as well, and it's unbelievably frustrating because you're trying to build an environment where guys they take the right options. I guess fundamentally, I'm in charge of the environment. I take responsibility for things which don't work out. What you can't do is you can't make every single decision for people as well. My job is to try and shape this environment, is to try and shape these young men who are dealing with the high pressure and high scrutiny of playing international cricket on the largest stage and being away from home 12 months of the year and the challenges that come with that. I do believe there is a place to never want to kill the joy, so to speak. I think it's vitally important that you celebrate your successes. I look back on, I've been involved in this sport now and living this life now for the best part of 20 years, and some of my most enjoyable moments have been sitting around after going to war with your teammates and sitting around in a dressing room and looking them in the eye and realising that you've left it all out there and you enjoy those celebrations. I don't believe in excess. I think excess is a dangerous situation. You need to always uphold the standards and make sure we're trying to live by those. But you aren't always going to get it right. Guys are not always going to get it right, and we need to just keep trying to educate and learn and teach these guys and try and just always understand that every action has a large reaction that follows. Every negative action has a large reaction which follows, and I'd like us to start understanding that well before we make decisions which put the very environment in jeopardy.
Rob Keir suggested a possible alcohol ban. Would that be going too far then in your eyes?
Look, I think I think I saw Alistair Cook's share with me this week, Alistair Cook's article, and I thought it was nicely summed up. There's a player who's been at the top of his game. He's achieved wonderful things, played for a long period of time, and he mentioned that some of his greatest moments that he looks back on fondly during his playing days are sitting around in the dressing room with his teammates, celebrating what they've achieved, and that looks different for every person, right? But that is fundamentally the moment that you do look back on as a player, and I agree with Cookie on it. And I think there's no blanket rule for everyone in that regard. I think we need to just keep working through and try to work out what the best thing is so that these incidents don't happen.
Thank you. Brendan, just what you've said about there's a process to play out and your worry for Ben. Therefore, do we take it it's just simply too soon to decide whether or not he can be England captain again?
I think for us, our concern is with Ben. Our concern is handling that situation and making sure that we look after him. He feels supported by us. He has constant communication with us. And those other things will work out down the line.
That being said then, what do you actually have to do to look after him?
Well, you just got to keep communicating, right? You're just checking in daily. Stokes and we've spoken every day since this incident has unfolded, and there's been a range of emotions which Ben's gone through as well. I'm not going to share those with you. That's out of respect for our relationship and the confidentiality of that as well. I care about Ben, and I just want to make sure that we are doing the right thing by him and ultimately doing the right thing by the team also.
Given everything that you and him have been through together as a leadership combination, and what you've achieved, what Ben's achieved as captain and what he's achieved as a player,